Skyforge is a sci-fi fantasy MMO made by Allods and Obsidian. You play an immortal who's seeking to get more powerful and create a following. You have one character that can freely change classes at any time once you unlock them, kind of like battle frames in Firefall. There's no character selection screen, so all character development you do goes just to one character and you don't have to redo things. You roam around a combination of regions, which are the open, player-filled areas like you've seen in every MMO ever, and adventures, which you can run either solo or with small groups of up to 3 or 5, depending on the adventure. Combat in Skyforge is locked camera and very, very mobile, kind of similar to Neverwinter or Firefall or Terra. Some classes have a lot of combos or stance-based abilities, some don't. As someone who's played quite a few MMOs before, I've found the variety in classes pretty impressive. I'm seeing a lot of things I haven't seen before. The combat just feels smooth and honestly just feels really good. It feels polished. There are no actual healing classes in the game. The closest you can get is a support, which I'm playing right now. As you take off chunks in an NPC's health like that, you'll see these little light orb things that drop on the ground and you stand in them to heal them. But they only work for one person, so in a group or on a tough boss, you have to divvy them up a little bit and decide who gets the heals and that kind of thing. You start with access to 3 classes: the Lightbinder, which is a support, the Paladin, which is a tank or DPS, and the Cryomancer, which is mage DPS. There are no levels in this game whatsoever. Your prestige acts to indicate your experience essentially, and it is added to by all sorts of stuff. Your gear affects your prestige, your progression through the Ascension Atlas, and even your order progression with your temples and stuff. There are 16 classes in total, which you can test out using this training room, and in fact that's a really good idea, because as soon as you have the ability to unlock other classes, you're probably going to want to start making your way towards that node in the Ascension Atlas, so you can go around and try out the Witch, which is awesome, or the Kinetic, etc., and it'll set you against a series of trials, slowly introducing you to their abilities and their combos and that kind of thing. There are 2 main different types of character progression in the game, one being the class-specific trees, which are largely linear and consist of things like bonuses for your character that apply to all classes and talents that are specific to classes that you use to earn the points for them. And when you reach a certain point, fairly early on, you unlock the Ascension Atlas, which is a lot more complicated. You start here and you work your way towards unlocking other classes with this one. Even for an MMO veteran, there is a learning curve just because of all the systems that are involved in this game. You use 3 different types of experience, red, green, and blue sparks, to unlock each of these nodes, and you can choose a path that will get you what you want. Like, I am working my way towards Witch, which is way the heck over here, and so that is going to take me a while. Beyond the Ascension Atlases, there is also a talent tree containing talents that affect your class abilities. These are specific to the class you're playing. There's a follower system similar to Old Republic or Neverwinter or WoW Garrisons, where you recruit followers into your order and then you can send them out on missions. They essentially work to expand your order and get you materials for things like temples and chapels, which in turn can earn you bonuses and prestige. In terms of downsides for this game, I would have to say that I haven't really found the main storyline to be super compelling. I would say overall the voice acting is pretty weak, which I found really surprising because of Obsidian's involvement. I would have thought that it would have been a lot better. However, that doesn't have to get in your way very much either. The dialogue's already pretty short, and if you want to skip it and just get on to the combat, you can do that. I think also something to think about is that the initial complexity may be kind of an annoyance for some people. I know when I started with this game, I felt kind of overwhelmed and confused at all the various systems in play that were very different from what I'd seen before, and it kind of threw me off, had me not necessarily wanting to keep going, but I did, and the more I stuck with it, the more I really started to like it. I feel a big fear with free-to-play games is that you'll get into it, you'll get hooked, and 2 weeks later, you figure out that it kind of sucks if you want to play for free and you feel like you're being treated like a second-class player. This game is not like that. I really do not feel it is pay to win. There are Argents, which are like a cash shop currency, and there are credits, which are an in-game currency. And you can freely convert between them. So literally anything that you can get for Argents, you can use in-game credits to get, meaning you don't have to spend a dime if you don't want to. Even cooler, the conversion between Argents and credits seems to be player mediated, or at least it seems to be set up to be that way. I think right now during the open beta, the price is still set by devs. But what's cool about that is it will rely on supply and demand, and so players can kind of determine for themselves what Argents are worth, and it kind of helps it balance itself out with the in-game market. You can purchase Premium, which lets you get 50% more drops on experience and credits. And at first, that seemed really pay to win to me. I was really scared by that when I first saw it. But you have to keep in mind there are weekly limits on how much you can earn on this stuff anyway. So it really just helps you hit those limits faster. So it provides some acceleration if you can't play a lot, but I would definitely not consider this game breaking. You're almost certain to hit these limits either way. Because of those limits, you're not going to be able to unlock a class that normally takes 3 weeks or something. You're not going to be able to just do that in 4 days or something because you have Premium. It just doesn't work that way. There is a collector's edition for $60 that comes with the Alchemist class and the Berserker class, but it does not open this node up for expansion towards other classes in the Atlas. Essentially, it means that you're not able then to use these points to branch off and earn other classes faster. So yes, it grants you those 2 classes, but you still have to do the same amount of work to get the others. This game has really, really grown on me. At first, the complexity of it had me a little bit intimidated, but I'm really glad I stuck with it. My recommendation is if you find the idea of the game interesting, then it's worth the download. Go ahead and give it a go and find something you really love. There's certainly enough content, and the content is good enough that it's worth downloading it.